Hello, this is Kenneth 14621, and I kind of had a heated discussion in a sports group I'm in, and someone posed the question, which one of these legends dribbles the best? And they had Allen Iverson, a legend, Jason Williams, a legend, but then they had Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving. Do we really consider these people legends? I mean, don't I think a legend is a former player, someone who has already played and is done with their career. I don't think you can categorize, I don't care how good they are. I'm not saying they're not as good as these former players. They may have more overall stats than them. They may be the best player that ever played the game. But before their career is over, to start calling them a legend and ranking them among the greatest of all time and stuff like that, I just, or at least calling them a legend and saying, I'm comparing these legends, well, you're using a guy that's still playing. You know? Like, that's just the way I am. To me, it's like this. There's this thing called time, okay? And if I say he's played 4 years in the NBA, you have to have played 4 years. That's 12 months, 365 days, 24 hours a day. I don't care how good your stats are in between that period. I don't care how bad you are. If I say I want a player who's played 4 years, there is no, oh, well, he's only played two, but he's so good, or but this, but that. You have to have played 4 years. There's no way to speed up time or slow it down. And to me, it's the same thing with a legend. There's no way to speed it up or to slow it down. You have to be done playing with your entire career to be in that fraternity. And I accuse the guy of being a young kid, and I'm pretty sure he was. Because that's the way young kids feel. They want to get their gratification now. You know what I mean? They don't want to wait for anything. And if I was young, I would feel the same way. But I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much you practice, how smart you are. You're not 30 years old until you're 30 years old. See what I'm saying? Like, that's just my opinion. You know? I mean, so anyways, though, that was my opinion on that. We mix up these words so much. Even LeBron James, I call him a future legend. A future great of all time, because he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. You have to be done with your career to wind up in the Hall of Fame. And they're probably going to start pushing it in the future. Oh no, you should be in the Hall of Fame before your career's done. Well, and even if you think about it on the player standpoint, that's messing up their achievements. They haven't got all the stats they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Wait until they're done to call them a Hall of Famer or a legend, and then they'll look even greater because they'll have even better stats. But see, the fact of it is, a player comes into the league and for their first 3 or 4 years, they're good. And then people want to start treating them like a LeBron James or like a Michael Jordan that was good for 15 straight years and is going to be good their entire career. I'm not saying Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving are like that, but that's what people want to do. Mostly young kids. They want to anoint a guy, even straight out of college. He comes out of college, has a few good games in the NBA. Oh, he's a Hall of Famer. If he keeps up at this pace, it's like if a player comes out of college and has 10 blocks in his first game. You can't just go on to say, oh, he's going to have 10 million blocks and assume that he's going to have 10 blocks every single game for the rest of his career. Because a guy has 3 or 4 good years doesn't mean he's going to have 15 good years. You know what I'm saying? And even if he's like in his 10th year and he's already surpassed everybody and everything, you can't call him a legend until he's retired, until he's done playing. Like, people just it's just ridiculous, you know. And you know, it's usually young people because they haven't watched the game long enough to see these guys that come in the league and they're good at first and then they have a huge drop off and totally suck the rest of their career, or maybe even suck so bad that they're out of the league by their 6th or 7th year or their 8th or 9th year. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why they act like that, is because they want to get into discussion with the older people. The older people are comparing all these people and they don't know enough players yet to be able to be in that discussion. So they start raising up these players that they do know that have only played 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying? To say, oh, he's a future Hall of Famer, so they can get in that Hall of Fame discussion. When really you can't really have a legitimate Hall of Fame or Legends discussion until you've watched basketball for about 20, 30 years, you know, until you're like, 30, 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, though, but that's my opinion on that. Thank you very much.